Hello, everyone. I'm very impromptu doing this, but I wanted to read today out of 365. I'm reading that, and I read my own. It was funny. I was telling my tapping buddy, I read yesterday's, and I so often have this experience as I read through this, like, who wrote this? And that's how I know, like, we're a channel for it. And it's like this just flowed out of me and came through me. And when I go back and read it, I'm like, wow, like who wrote that? So that's why I know, I'll say it this way, in that sense, like my ego was out of the way of this. I was just it was just in the flow as I wrote this. So it's, that's how we're used for the highest good. We're used to possibly put something out there that could help other people. Maybe not, but does. But I really wanted to read today's, May 12th. And this out of 365 days to embracing forbidden emotions. Do you imagine the universe is agitated? Go into the desert at night and look at the stars. This practice should answer the question. Lao Tzu's. Maybe I was raised to believe in a very human God, one that's master and commander of crazy town. 1 minute, this God loves me with a deep, abiding love. The next minute, if I misstep, the wrath of God is blown all over my being. Is this a God I can trust and believe has my back? Maybe my image of God, or whatever I want to call it, needs a serious upgrade. Does God or the universe have human characteristics? And if it does, why does it seem that it's the worst of human characteristics? The upgrade would be a force that has my back, a force that guides and directs me, a force, if I can learn to tune back into my authentic self, I feel this love and support from, a force that gives me guidance and direction through impulses to act on and to move forward. What if I follow these impulses and before I know it, my life unfolds in amazing ways far greater than my small self can imagine? Maybe I do need to step outside under the vast expanse of stars that is above me and feel what comes. I think if I keep doing this, I might find I feel a peace and contentment independent of what the world tells me it should be like. Thought for the day: what if sometime today I can step outside and just pause and take in the natural world around me? Looking up in the sky is enough. Ruth, oh my God, your puppies are so freaking adorable. Thanks for sending those. So let's tap. Karate chop. Even though my idea of a higher power or a higher whatever could probably use an upgrade, I choose to honor this truth right now. Even though if I have a punishing, punitive higher power, one that's riddled with human traits, what if it needs an upgrade? Even though this might blow my freaking mind, that I could actually have an upgrade of a higher power. Isn't God just God? I'm not supposed to question what I'm told about that. But what if even God, or whatever I believe is a higher power, would actually love an upgrade? Go to the eyebrow. What if I need an upgrade? If I have a punishing, punitive God that takes on some of the worst human characteristics, wouldn't it be a good idea to upgrade that? When I look out at the stars, at the ocean, at the mountains, at all the creatures on this planet. These sentient beings I share this planet with. Could this really be the creation of a punishing, punitive God? What if there's a new way to see this? What if I'm actually meant to believe I'm supported, guided and directed to my highest good? And if I look out in the world at all the pain and suffering, I might ask, what kind of God is this? But what if it's possible? That's where free will comes in. I'm a spiritual being having a human experience. And what if everything that seems so bad in the world, if I look deeper, what if it's actually there for my soul's evolution? To help me wake up to something so much greater. And what if in human condition, with all the momentum we humans have going, what if that's the way this needs to happen? So what if I can see all the pain and suffering in the world in a vastly different way? What if it doesn't come from a pissed off, punitive God anyway? That's typically always male, very punishing, and actually an extreme narcissist. Because one minute this God loves me with an unending love, and the next minute, if I misstep, the rug gets pulled out from under me, and I'm meant to be punished for my sins. But what if this world has it all wrong? Dare I say, what if religions are man-made? And there's goodness in every religion. But what if there's also such humanness in religion that has created this punishing, punitive being that's going to screw with me when I'm not getting it right? But what if I'm meant to find more peace, goodness, and kindness in my life? And what if this could be the beginning? Even if it blows my freaking mind, to find a new way to see an infinite being. And what if I could allow that to come to me in more quiet moments, And what if that changes everything for me? So take a breath. I've told this story before, but I'll tell it again. There's a guy I follow, and he was an internal medical doctor, and he worked in the ER. And he talked about one day, Zach Bush is his name, whether you like him or not, I love him, and I love his stories, and he is a scientist too, but he said this one day in the ER, he resuscitated and brought back to life 3 people. And he said they couldn't have been from different backgrounds. One was like a black minister, one was like a white stay-at-home mom, and one was just a young, I'm pretty sure is an Asian student. And so you think about ethnic-wise, all that, very different backgrounds. And every one of them that crossed over after they came back and after the next day when he went to see him, they all said the same thing to him. Why'd you bring me back? And he said, you're trained to save lives. And he goes, you can't imagine the disappointment I felt that they're all like, why'd you bring me back? And all 3 of them said they felt the same thing. As soon as they passed, they had this overwhelming feeling of love and acceptance. Like it literally didn't matter what they had done in life. They were coming back to their true self, that they were loved and accepted no matter what. And he said that had such a profound impact for him. And when I heard that story, and I know people have crossed over and come back, every single one of them, and said, oh, I had this experience, of this peace and love and all that. But imagine that those 3 people, the same day, resuscitated. They all said the same thing. And I'm like, that's got to matter for something. And in my upbringing, it was a very male, punishing, punitive, truly narcissistic God that one minute was going to love me and the next minute was just going to sue his venom on me. And I always said, well, the devil's more trustworthy because he's always a shit. So at least I know how to trust that. When I woke up from the nightmare of the program that I had, and I am not telling anyone what to believe here, that everybody's got to find their own way with that. But I would suggest is really thinking about, I might need an upgrade, because if I am thinking like, my God, if I make this one misstep, I'm punished, or I'm being punished for what I've done wrong, or if I look out in the world and all I see is pain and suffering, it's like, what is this God doing? Instead of thinking, what are we humans doing? What are we humans doing? And how are we creating what we're living in? And how, in a sense, have we moved so far away from our true selves that this is what we're seeing in the world? And that's why, for me personally, when I see, animals get me more than anything. Like I said, I'm like, I just don't necessarily get Mother Nature, what I call the brutality of it. But I trust that there's something there that I just can't see because I'm human. In my humanness, I'm like, oh God, they eat each other and stuff like that. But it's like, I think like so much of what I see in the world, it's created by us as humans. It's not this punishing, punitive God. It's like we have drifted so far from our true center that this is what happens. And then I heard this neuroscientist, I don't know how they know this stuff, but they said with animals and even with humans, which is fascinating, is there's a part of them when they leave, animals in particular, leave the body before the pain is felt. So you might be witnessing pain but literally they check out. And I thought, wow, this is a neuroscientist saying this. I cannot remember her name, but I listened to this, like, that's fascinating. It would make sense to me. And it would answer a lot of, like, I would say, my sort of confusion about that. She said humans actually do it too. You might see them, quote, suffering, but really the truest essence of them has moved on already. And that makes sense to me. And I'm not telling anyone what to believe, but if you find yourself down on yourself, or you get terrified of the events in the world and you think, well, God has abandoned us, I would say it's probably good to look at an upgrade and be like, no, us humans have kind of abandoned ourselves, and we've created these things that cause problems for us. It has nothing to do with God. And when I've had those peaceful moments out in nature, I just know there's something so much more. And there's something so much better than what I might experience in my life. And I do believe that. Even in the midst of, I would say, my most painful moments, I always come back to that. So I was prompted just impromptu to share this. And Ruth, so great to see you here. And love seeing those puppies. Keep sending the pictures. And hope you find this helpful. Bye for now. Take care, everyone. Bye, Ruth.